What's up, Title Tribe? Happy NFL Week 1. I am your host, John Sheps. You can find me on the Twitter at Coach Sheps. You can find me over at toiletstotitles.com and on the Toilets to Titles podcast network. We had some Sunday football, and I'm going to give you my instant recap of NFL Sunday from the week 1 of the NFL season. And I'm going to start with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to start with the player I planted my flag on the hype train back in May. That's Brandon Ayuk. All the buzz out of training camp for the San Francisco 49ers this offseason, if you listen closely, if you listen to the right beat reporters, was that Brandon Ayuk was uncoverable. He started that season proving to everybody he's that dude. Led the team with 8 targets, 8 receptions, 129 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Phenomenal performance. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey got his. Brock Purdy looked decent. I think Deebo Samuel had about 50 yards. George Kittle played okay. But the 2 alphas in that offense, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, get used to it. Deebo's going to have his days where he has chunk plays. George Kittle's going to have his days. I think Brandon Ayuk's going to be consistent. And I said it before. I believe he's going to be the first receiver in San Francisco 49ers or for the San Francisco 49ers since Anquan Bolden to hit the 1,000 receiving yard mark in back-to-back season. I think he's going to explode past it. I'm looking for 1,200 plus receiving yards. Another thing I learned from week 1 of the NFL season was that Anthony Richardson, he could be fantasy relevant without Jonathan Taylor. I was very nervous. I threw dirt on the Indianapolis Colts all week. I apologize to my co-host, Justin Stevens. You can find me talking with Justin every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on the Toilets Titles Podcast Network. We're talking fantasy football, getting you set up for the season and the week. So make sure you're subscribed and you're checking that out. But I threw dirt. He's a Colts fan. And the Colts competed. I thought the Jags were going to come in and stomp them. He's currently quarterback 4 on the week. That is Anthony Richardson, and that's with the Jets and the Bills left to be playing. I believe he'll probably fall somewhere. I think one of them cracks the top 4. He probably falls to quarterback 5. He went 24 for 37, 223 yards, a touchdown, interception. They only lost 31-21, and there were points in that game. I thought the Colts were actually going to win it. 24 for 37 for a guy who was, we were told coming into the NFL, is an unfinished product. To step in week 1 and do that, I feel pretty good. And then he added 40 yards on 10 carries on the ground. He hurt his knee. We'll see. I'm assuming he's okay. I'm hoping he's okay. I haven't heard much other than that. He's going to have to be a little more smart about the way he runs the football. But when a guy like Jonathan Taylor comes back and can take those between the tackle carries, I think we're going to see Richardson take less hits between the tackles, and more of his runs will be on scrambles where we're still going to see big plays. So anybody rostering him in a fantasy format will be happy with what he gives for them this season. Another thing I'm seeing, the Green Bay Packers are in good hands with Jordan Love. He's another player I was touting. I believe I had him as my quarterback 13 overall in my redraft rankings for the season. He's quarterback 3 for the week, 15 for 27, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, which 3 touchdowns are impressive. 50% completion percentage isn't great. It was against a division opponent. The weather wasn't great. But what impressed me the most was he spread the ball to 8 different receivers. So that means he's got great control and command of that offense. So the Packers, good shape. The Bears, not so much. They still have work to do. Man, they had 2 running backs, like 2 actual running backs that only combined for 47 yards. Justin Fields leading the backfield, that's just not going to get it done. Only 1 receiver topped 50 yards, and the defense only got to Jordan Love once. So the Bears, the monsters of the Midway defense, we didn't see much defense. They have to improve. And you know what we didn't see? We didn't see Geno Smith do much for the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams, they're a division opponent, so maybe that's really all it is, just the Rams having the Seahawks number. But if it's more than that, I am definitely concerned because Geno Smith turned back into a pumpkin this week. Quarterback 23 on the week so far. So on the outs of being a quarterback 2, low-end quarterback 2, he only completed 16 of 26 passes, 112 yards. That's with one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL. You know how I feel about Jackson Smith and the Jigba. I predicted him to be the offensive rookie of the year. He's not going to get it done with Geno Smith throwing the ball like he did this past week. But you know who is getting it done? Tua and Tyreek, man. These guys, elite, absolutely elite. Tua, he gets criticized. He can't throw the ball this way. He can't throw the ball that way. Man, there was one play. It was like 3rd and 14. Tua was rolling out to the left. He was buying time. He was dodging defenders. And then he had a receiver, I believe it was Braxton Berrios, coming back to the sideline, like 2 yards past the first down, rolling out to his left, throws it on a bullet. It was like a 20-yard throw in a big situation against the Chargers. It was a very close game. Nails him on the money, moves the chains. So not only is Tua capable of those big time plays to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, he's able to distribute it and move the chains when he needs to. 28, 45, 466 yards. And Tyreek, I mean, what do I need to say? Just go to YouTube, check out a highlight film because this guy is a human highlight. 11 receptions, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, he's wide receiver 1 in the week. He had a touchdown on the right side where the defender was right in his hip pocket. The ball was thrown perfectly, and the defender was real close, and he still met like the amount of concentration it takes to track that ball with the defender in your ear hole. That's why these guys get paid the big bucks. A receiver who's young, one day he's going to get paid the big bucks. Zay Flowers for the Baltimore Ravens. He had a team high 10 targets. I didn't have him at the top of my list for redraft rookie receivers. Rashee Rice is another guy I didn't have my top of my list who played well. I had guys like Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Zay Flowers, 10 targets. No other receiver in Baltimore had more than 3 targets. Team high, 78 receiving yards. I expect with Mark Andrews coming back, he's not going to, there may be weeks where he leads the team in targets, but he's not going to be 7 targets away from the next guy. But Mark Andrews takes attention from the safety, takes attention from the linebacker. Zay is dangerous after the catch. Those guys having to come down and focus on Mark Andrews should open things up for Zay Flowers, and you're going to see some more chunk gains. He had a team high 78 receiving yards. Now we got another wide receiver who he might be the waiver wire darling this week with J.K. Dobbins going down in Baltimore. Justice Hill is going to be a waiver wire darling. And check out the Patreon, patreon.com/toilets-titles. All right, for Toilets Titles, because we do a waiver wire primer. We release it immediately after Monday Night Football. We work on it all weekend, all Monday. We show you the amount that the percentage these players are rostered, why you should pick them up, who their priority should be. So if you want to get in that, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/toilets-titles. My prediction is Puka Nacua. He's going to be the darling. 10 receptions, 119 yards, wide receiver 8 so far. Team high 15 targets, 10 receptions. It's incredible. Somebody asked me, Dynasty, who would you consider? And they asked me in our Gilded chat. So that's another thing you need to get in. Check me out on Twitter at Coach Sheps or toiletsandtitles@gmail.com. We have a community chat with over 220 people. We're talking all aspects of fantasy, NFL, gambling, college football. One of the members of the Title Tribe was like, hey, Coach, who do you value more long-term, Rashee Rice or Puka Nacua? And when I say long-term, I'm saying dynasty, right? Not redraft. And I think I value Rashee Rice more because the quarterback position for Kansas City is less volatile. Right now, year 1, Puka, I'm riding that till the wheels fall off. But I worry about Matthew Stafford. But hey, it's a Victory Monday, so let's enjoy it. Let's not worry. Puka Nacua, phenomenal. The final note from Sunday is the Dallas Cowboys defense absolutely lights out. Biggest shutout ever in Dallas Cowboys team history, 40-0. The last time they had anything close to this was back in 1994, 95, 35-0 against the New York Giants. They went on to win the Super Bowl. So not saying that's going to happen, but man, this defense, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, an interception return for a touchdown where it was Trayvon Diggs popped Saquon Barkley. Ball flew up in the air. Deron Bland was right there, took it back to the house. Giants were moving the ball early in the game. Cowboys stopped them, held them to a field goal, blocked it. Wanye Thomas, shout out to the rookie, just barely made the roster because he balled out in preseason. Now he's starting. He's making plays. Shout out to Marquise Bell. Dude was all over the field. I want to say he had like 14 tackles. Incredible. But 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, interception touchdown, blocked field goal touchdown, forced fumble. Trayvon Diggs popped Saquon, railed him, knocked the ball up in the air, and then he chased a wide receiver down late in the game. Like the Cowboys could have gave up. They were up 33-0 at this point. They could have gave up. They knew they were winning, but they didn't. They continued. That was one of the most impressive things to me. They knew they were going to win. They didn't let up. They fought through for the shutout. So the Dallas Cowboys defense is legitimate. Another note, I think New England Patriots, they surprised the Philadelphia Eagles. They surprised me a little bit. They played pretty well. Ezekiel Elliott played pretty well. So there's, if you want to hear more about what we think of NFL Week 1, check us out on the Twitter at Toilets Titles. We got you covered. Get in the Gilded Chat. We can talk about all things NFL. You can reach out to me, toiletsandtitles@gmail.com. Make sure you tune into our shows. All right, Tuesday, I go live with my guy Justin every night on Tuesday, or every Tuesday night rather, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking all things fantasy football. Sundays, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., we have a show called Title Time Live, where you, the listener, drive the bus. All right, you're in the comments in YouTube. You ask your start sit questions. We answer it for you, and we help you hopefully win some money, win some fantasy games. So everybody, I appreciate you checking that out. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and good luck in week 2. Take care.